but we did not parcel out the plaza.
All right, would you please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
You don't have to answer tonight.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Jody, could you call the roll?
Dennis,
Here.
Harold,
Here.
Hollenbaugh,
Here.
Odoricio,
Here.
Phipps,
Here.
Robinette,
Here.
Sherry.
Here.
Okay. The minutes from our February 20th meeting were distributed for your perusal. Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Properly moved and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Jody, do we have any correspondence this evening?
We do not.
Brings us to lobby visitations. Do we have lobby visitations?
We do. Lindsay Joe Durham,
If you could please give your name and address for the record.
Hello, my name is Lindsay Jo Durham and I live at 1082 Fairview Avenue. Tonight, I stand before you to condemn a pervasive and deeply troubling issue that continues to afflict our society: violence against transgender individuals. It is disheartening that in the 21st century, when we pride ourselves on progress and inclusivity, transgender people still face alarming rates of physical and verbal abuse. This violence not only inflicts immediate harm, but perpetuates a cycle of fear, discrimination, and marginalization that hinders the pursuit of happiness and equality for all. We must recognize that every human being deserves to live free from violence and persecution, regardless of their gender identity. The acts of cruelty committed against transgender individuals are not only an assault on their physical well-being, but also an attack on the principles of justice and compassion that should unite us as a society. It is our collective responsibility to dismantle the prejudices that fuel these acts of violence and to foster an environment where everyone can thrive without fear of discrimination or harm. In condemning violence against trans people, we must actively engage in conversations that challenge stereotypes, promote empathy, and foster understanding. Let us work towards a world where acceptance and respect for diverse identities prevail over ignorance and hatred. By standing united against transphobia, we can strive for a future where everyone is free to express their authentic selves without the threat of violence looming overhead. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Joe Askunse,
Good evening, Mayor Alspacher and the BG City Council members. My name is Joe Askunse, and I live at 517 Flanders Avenue. And I'm one of the founding members of the Citizens for BG Dog Parks. I've come here tonight to express to you our enthusiasm and excitement for moving forward on the proposed dog park for the city of Bowling Green. As Wendy Manning, our president of the BG Dog Parks, expressed at last month's meeting, we have established our organization and we are in the process of seeking nonprofit status. We've elected a board and have formed subsequent committees for the work that lies ahead of us. At our meeting next Saturday morning, we will be preparing a response to the initial lease agreement with the city. Citizen cooperation for our endeavor has continued to be strong. Our fundraising capabilities have soared with t-shirt and sweatshirt sales, paint parties, photo shoots, and numerous private donations. I should also mention that we have a third upcoming Yappy Hour, which will be held at Arlen's Good Beer on May 18th. It's a pop-up dog park, Yappy Hour. Our committee has been eagerly anticipating a public meeting. In our 3 years of existence working towards this goal, we believe that this is the opportune time within the next month to hear from the administration and public and allow council to evaluate the proposed sites and make a decision. Now, this update coming in this afternoon, I learned just this afternoon that the meeting has been tentatively set for March 18th. And for that, we are extremely happy. Up to today's date, we have completed all the tasks that have been laid before us by the city to make the dream of an easily accessible dog park in Bowling Green a reality. And as always, we continue to look forward to working with the city to make this dream a reality. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Matt Sayer.
Good evening. My name is Matt Sayer, and I live at 706 West Gypsy Lane Road. I do want to comment on this beautiful building that we have here. Thank you for that. Thank you for the upgrade, as it were.
Well, thank you.
I was in here, well, not in here, but I was next door about 9 months ago, repeating my concern about the speed on West Gypsy Lane Road. I asked about I asked council about a plan that could be proposed to address the speed, and I was coming in today to ask about any update that might be that might be present.
Oh, the city safety director isn't here this.
Okay. In the past, I have called, emailed, spoken in person, reached out to the chief of police, the mayor, and council. To my knowledge, there has been no plan proposed, nor discussion. I would, if that staff member were here tonight, I would ask if there was any discussion since my last visit 9 months ago. I would ask if the chief was spoken with. I would ask if I would ask if any of you have reached out to talk to me in more detail. That answer would have been no. And I would also ask if anyone came down to see the traffic in person. And if not, why? West Gypsy Lane Road is a thoroughfare that has a 35-mile-per-hour speed limit on it. I'm not lobbying that it be lowered, just enforced. It intersects with a bike path. It has at least 4 bus stops daily. It has a summer marathon. Many families, pets, and children live there, mine included. And I guarantee that if any of you lived on that road, something would be done about it. I'd like to ask, what can be done to solve this problem? Something that jumps out to me is that when staff moved from the old building to this building, they got T-shirts for a Facebook post, but I can't get the speed limit on my road enforced. And it's kind of frustrating to me. So I'd like to plead with you to please come up with some kind of a plan to fix this problem. This is not something that I know that I want to spearhead to find people to help me support. It's just something that needs to be enforced that's already in place. Thank you for hearing me today.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's everyone.
Okay. That brings us to the introduction of new legislation.
Mr. President,
Mr. Robinette.
From the Finance Committee, I have an ordinance providing supplemental appropriations for the current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Bowling Green, Ohio during the fiscal year beginning January 1, 2024 and ending December 31, 2024.
Okay. Official reports, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, Council. I have no report subject to any questions that you may have.
Are there any questions for the mayor this evening? Could you make sure that Lori's aware of our lobby visitor? And
Yes, I will. I'll just comment, Mr. Sayre, I can appreciate your frustration, but I can tell you, in all due respect, it's inaccurate for you to state that the city does not enforce the speed limit on that street. I'm very much aware, based on previous conversations that we've had with you, that the police do enforce traffic and speed limits on that street. As you can appreciate, it's difficult, impossible for our police to be on any one street in the city at all times to be able to identify any one person at any point during a 24-hour period that might be violating the speed limit. So although I do consider appreciate your frustration, I will assure you that the police will continue to monitor speed limits on that street in the fashion that they currently do, which I do believe is appropriate. But yes, I will certainly share the concerns of our citizen this evening with both the safety director and the police chief. I'll pass on his concerns and make sure that they're aware of comments that were made this evening.
all right, thank you very much. Anything else for the mayor? Okay. City Attorney, Mr. Brown.
No report unless you have questions.
Are there any questions for Mr. Brown this evening? Okay. Public Infrastructure Director, Mr. O'Connell.
No report unless you have questions.
Are there any questions for Mr. O'Connell this evening? Okay. Brings us to council committee reports. Are there any council committee reports this evening?
Mr. President,
Yes, go ahead.
the Parks, Recreation, and Public Lands Committee will be holding a meeting at 6 p.m. March 18th for the purpose of discussing a lease agreement and location for a dog park.
Okay. So that's March 18th at 6 p.m.
Correct.
in council chambers.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. Any other council committee reports? All righty. In that case, Jody, could you lead us in the reading of legislation?
Legislation for first reading. Ordinance number 9178 for first reading. Ordinance providing supplemental appropriations for the current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Bowling Green, Ohio during the fiscal year beginning January 1, 2024 and ending December 31, 2024.
Mr. President,
Mr. Robinette.
I move to suspend the rules and give ordinance 9178 its second and third readings.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Okay. Jody?
Harold,
Yes.
Hollenbaugh,
Yes.
Odericio,
Yes.
Phipps,
Yes.
Robinette,
Yes.
Sherry,
Yes.
Dennis.
Yes.
Okay, the rules are suspended for ordinance 9178.
Ordinance number 9178 for second and third readings. Ordinance providing supplemental appropriations for the current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Bowling Green, Ohio during the fiscal year beginning January 1, 2024 and ending December 31, 2024.
Mr. President,
Mr. Robinette.
I move to adopt ordinance 9178.
Second.
It's properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Okay. Jody?
Hollenbaugh,
Yes.
Odericio,
Yes.
Phipps,
Yes.
Robinette,
Yes.
Sherry,
Yes.
Dennis,
Yes.
Harold.
Yes.
All right, ordinance 9178 is adopted.
Legislation for second reading. Ordinance number 9175 for second reading. Ordinance authorizing the Utilities Director to execute the Northern Power Pool participant schedule with American Municipal Power Incorporated. Ordinance number 9176 for second reading. Ordinance accepting annexation of approximately 1.934 acres of land in Center Township, Wood County, Ohio, from Cowart R. Davis, agent for Abbott Laboratories, petitioner. Ordinance number 9177 for second reading. Ordinance establishing interim zoning of IE Innovation and Employment Zoning for the approximately 1.934 acres of land located on Nims Road and North Dixie Highway and recently annexed to the city as petitioned for by Cowart R. Davis, agent for Abbott Laboratories. Legislation for third reading. Ordinance number 9166 for third reading. Ordinance amending and adopting sections of Chapter 33 of the codified ordinances of the City of Bowling Green, Ohio concerning employment policies.
Mr. President,
Mr. Robinette.
I move to adopt ordinance 9166.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Jody?
Odericio?
Yes.
Phipps?
Yes.
Robinette?
Yes.
Sherry?
Yes.
Dennis?
Yes.
Harold?
Yes.
Hollenbaugh?
Yes. Ordinance 9166 is adopted.
Ordinance number 9167 for third reading. Ordinance authorizing the municipal administrator to advertise for bids and enter into contracts for sidewalk improvements, pavement striping, de-icing salt, and improving streets, alleys, and other public ways in the city of Bowling Green, Ohio.
Mr. President,
Mr. Robinette.
I move to adopt ordinance 9167.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Jody?
Phipps?
Yes.
Robinette?
Yes.
Sherry?
Yes.
Dennis?
Yes.
Harold?
Yes.
Hollenbaugh?
Yes.
Odericio?
Yes.
All right, ordinance 9167 is adopted.
Ordinance number 9168 for third reading. Ordinance authorizing the municipal administrator and utilities director to advertise for bids and enter into contracts and/or participate in state of Ohio or federal purchasing programs for the purchase and/or lease of vehicles, equipment, and completion of projects, as well as the trade-in or outright sale of vehicles and equipment no longer needed for municipal purposes.
Mr. President,
Mr. Robinette.
I move to adopt ordinance 9168.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Jody?
Robinette?
Yes.
Sherry?
Yes.
Dennis?
Yes.
Harold?
Yes.
Hollenbaugh?
Yes.
Odericio?
Yes.
Phipps?
Yes.
Okay, ordinance 9168 is adopted.
Ordinance number 9169 for third reading. Ordinance authorizing the utilities director to enter into construction contracts for the clarifier improvements project at the water pollution control facility.
I move to adopt ordinance 9169.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Jody?
Sherry?
Yes.
Dennis?
Yes.
Harold?
Yes.
Hollenbaugh?
Yes.
Odericio?
Yes.
Phipps?
Yes.
Robinette?
Yes.
Okay, ordinance 9169 is adopted.
Ordinance number 9170 for third reading. Ordinance authorizing the utilities director to apply for a loan and execute a loan agreement with the Ohio EPA, Ohio Water Development Authority, OEPA, OWDA, for a water pollution control loan fund WPCLF program for construction of the clarifier improvements project at the water pollution control facility.
I move to adopt ordinance 9170.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Jody?
Dennis?
Yes.
Harold?
Yes.
Hollenbaugh?
Yes.
Odericio?
Yes.
Phipps?
Yes.
Robinette?
Yes.
Sherry?
Yes.
Okay, ordinance 9170 is adopted. Is there any other business to come before council this evening? Hearing none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned.